Так. Всем привет. Всем привет. Так, а что у нас? На чем я вообще остановился? Я уже совсем... Отправляйтесь на поле боя, когда будешь готов. Подкрепление. Это куда? Чё? О, так. Мне вообще в принципе похеру. Погнала лошадь. Я думаю, за один раз-то я эту уже оставшуюся часть пройду. Тут уже я не знаю, что еще. Мы уже трибушет построили. Его нужно только пристрелять. Подкрепление какое-то задание. Примирительный крест. Так, где мы? Ну да. Ля-ля-ля-ля-ля. Это что такое? Денег. Ну вот, я готов. Тут что-то никого нигде нет. Вообще в какой еще одежде? Я всех в мясо покромсаю и все.
Easy, easy.
А, похер.
Not yet.
Что произошло? А, все нормально. О, нихера их тут. А, ну у нас тоже что-то есть. Так, не, ну нахер. Длинный панский хауберг. Панцирь, шлем, наруч, поножи. Длинный. Кольчужный койф. Магденбургские. О, красав. Красавелла, вообще, вася, масса пока. Мягкие полы. Комбизон? Нет, нет, нет. Что-то мягкий койф еще должен быть. Нет. Ну и хер бы с ним. Похер.
Just a little longer.
А куда остальные делись? А, вон они.
Easy.
They were expecting us! First troops to the bridge! Break through! Vanguard! To the left! And the rest, come with me! We'll flank the bastards!
At them! Charge! Grind those horsens into the dirt!
Да ты чё, блин? Да как ты это сделал? Опять это... Блядь. Так, вроде все пока нормально идет. Так, какая-то каст-сцена. Я думаю, тут ничего вообще ерунда. Помоги пану Ганушу. Хорошо.
To the bridge! You have to help them!
Пошел ты! Лезу все время. Да, да откуда ты взялся? Пизду. Что произошло? Нет. Сами потом будете, блядь, разбираться, кто кого ушатал. Я аж всех
Here's their
выиграю.
leader.
What? This boy.
You should show a little more respect, Divish. You'll need it when you kneel before Istvan. Oh, now the pup shows his teeth.
Istvan, you say? Not Sir Istvan? Or Lord Toth? Just how intimate are the two of you?
I know him. He's Eric, Toth's captain and right-hand man.
Finally, some good news. Shackle him and guard him closely.
О, Борок.
Those bastards want to destroy our trebuchet.
Требушет. Наконец-то, хоть какие-то действия. Блин, это что, туда херашить? Задание выполнено. Да. Игра сохранена. Об урона началось задание. Быстрее помогите защитить требушет. Смотри, как умею. Да, блядь, ты садись ты. Ты еблан, что ли, блядь? Ты чё? Ой, в пизду погнал я так. Какой-то долбоебизм, блядь. Непонятно почему скидывает. До хера крапивы. Корзинки из параллельной вселенной появляются. Хорошо-то как. Параллельные вселенные. Так, началось вот это задание обороны. Ой, это вы кто, блядь? Вы кто? Ой, блядь. Петухи ебучие. Я думаю, их там убьют. Еб-красота. А ты кто вообще? Ты больной, что ли? Так, ну это там дерутся похер. Воу-воу-воу-воу-воу. Вы кто? Охеренно. На. Уйди ты нахер. На, блядь. На. Петух. Ебучий. Куда? На, блядь. Да бить нахер. Не оставлять в живых никого. А, кого еще можно убить? Ты кто? Ты свой? А ты что делаешь? Бьешь, нет? А, блядь. Ха! На. Ах ты ж пидор. Почему? Ты вот его бил? Я тебя бил? Придурок. Придурок. Ух ты, блядь, а вы кто? Помоги быстрее затащить в требушет кого-то, давай. Вот это опять ФПС. На, по балде тебе. По балде тебе. Ура! Ура! Да, это, конечно, не Властелин колец. Не Властелин колец. Ну, приблизительно, наверное, так в средние века и дрались. Откуда у них там многотысячные армии? Давай ему тоже по балде.
The damage isn't too serious.
So we can shoot.
Not just yet.
Sir,
Да чё ж с
what are we
ФПС?
waiting for?
You've heard his threats, Robard. Do you want him to kill Radzik and my wife? We have to consider all our options.
And it would be a shame to destroy the castle, too. But how do we get that rat out of there?
Sir, I might have a solution. What about exchanging hostages? He was the captain at Vranjik, and he brought Istvan's reinforcements here. Seems to be on very, intimate terms with Toth. He might be able to tell us something. And he might even be as valuable to his lord as Lady Stephanie and my father are to us.
You're your father's son, by God.
You're a godsend, lad. You're right. We'll interrogate this whore son, and then decide what to do next. Come to my tent when you've rested.
Мы допросим этого мудака что-то. Так. Перед... так. Вот, шатер. Надо, да? У нас есть какое-нибудь сохранение? Ну вот, только что сохранилось. Нормально. Ну.
Start talking, or make your peace with God.
Ну что свистишь? Представь, кстати, в шатре. Да ёб твою мать. Да ёб парасете.
Ah, Henry.
Давай. Болтаем.
Well now, Eric. It is Eric, isn't it? Looks like the boot's on the other foot this time, doesn't it?
Fuck you.
Охрененный
You need to
диалог.
change your tone. If you start being nice, you might just come out of this alive. So now I'll ask you a few questions, and you better think carefully about how you answer them.
Мне
Who is
нормально.
this Toth?
Ура!
Same as me. The Turks killed his parents, so he started killing Turks. Sigismund needed men like that, so Istvan ended up in his service.
How did you meet him?
What's that got to do with anything?
What is he after?
Are you really that clueless? To destroy Wenceslas's allies. You.
Who does he take his orders from?
Are you stupid? He works.
Согласен, это
How
тупо.
many men does he have in the castle?
How should I know? There were nearly 70 of us at the beginning, but there's probably not even half left. But that's still more than there ever were in that castle. More than enough to defend it.
Listen to me. Toth has hostages in the castle, and we have you. So, how about an exchange?
Do you take him for a fool? Do you really think he'd give up the only thing he has that stops you?
You better pray he will, for your own sake. Because once we attack, you'll be worthless to us. And what do
Короче,
you suppose
понятно.
will happen to a
Хрень
worthless
какая-то.
bandit? I won't waste any more time on it.
I don't need to save myself. Istvan will save me. And he'll...
Why should he save you? He'll sacrifice you, just like everyone in Vranyik.
You don't know anything. He'll come to me, and anyone who lays it.
Now I'm curious. Why would...
You never understand.
For a while there, I thought we'd get nothing out of it.
Педики.
But in the end, he spilled his guts.
I thought you were much too easy on him. But it seems you're a... Anyway, it's clear that young fellow is no ordinary brigand. And he believes Toth cares about him.
Well, Divish, I think the time has come to find out just how much Toth values our hostage. Do you want to parley with him yourself?
I think I'll leave that to you, Hanish.
So be it. I'll do my utmost. Bring the hostage below the battlements.
Походу мне не дали этот.
What is it? Did our neighbourly visit catch you unprepared?
A little. But we've settled in nicely. And this fellow is enjoying our company so much, we simply can't get rid of him.
Ну что ж, сын.
It seems we are in similar situations. Perhaps it's time to send our respective guests home.
Not a chance.
Do you take me for a fucking fool?
Be warned. If anything happens to Eric, I'll let every manjack here have his way with this bitch, and I'll dice Kobila into goulash meat.
Nobly spoken, your grace. But for all I know, you may have done that already.
Divish, I'm sorry.
Greetings, friends. Fear not, Lord Toth is treating us like royalty.
They're unharmed, as you can see. But don't try any tricks, or they won't be for long, Hanush.
It seems your lord doesn't place any great value in you, boy.
Go to hell.
На ему, бля.
I'm sorry. It looks like it's not going to be that easy.
Well, at least we know they're alive. I didn't expect much of it anyway.
He won't harm them as long as we have this fellow.
Чё, мне не дадут ачивку? Я почитал, что да, ачивка есть на этом задании. Бля.
Well, friends, what do you suggest?
I'd say we have no choice but to attack.
It's a great risk, Robard, with Stephanie and Radzig inside.
I know how you feel, sir, but Toth is no fool. They are his last safeguard. He will do nothing to harm them until he is sure of victory.
Would you be saying that if it were your wife inside?
Or your father?
Well, let me point out that we have no choice anyway. We don't have enough supplies to keep men here for weeks, while gangs of brigands and Sigismund's army roam the countryside. Toth won't agree to an exchange, and even if he did, we'd have to let him go. With all his men, he'd be a thorn in our sides till Judgment Day.
Sir, a message has arrived.
Oh, what is it?
Margrave Jobst is approaching with his retinue and wants to speak with you.
Jobst, you say? All right.
What is he doing here?
Who's Jobst?
Jobst of Luxembourg is cousin to King Wenceslaus and Sigismund. He's the Margrave of Moravia.
Only a year ago, he was collaborating with Sigismund and the League of Lords. He betrayed King Wenceslas and his ally Prokop. Now, he's changed sides, appointed himself the leader of the rebellion against Sigismund, and wants to liberate Wenceslas.
Whichever way the wind blows.
Nevertheless, it seems the decision is made for us. We don't want Jobst camping with us in front of our own castle like a band of gypsies.
I'm afraid you're right, Hanish. All right. We'll let the men rest a while and then attack.
Хорошо.
Come to me when everything is ready.
Мне не дали ачивку. А почему? А что не так? Задание выполнено. Оборона. Так. Мы вот смотрим. И что у нас тут есть? Панцирь, хуянцирь. Это все было обаяние. Так. Так, так. Мягкие поножи. Так. Панские желтые, бля. Это хуй. А чё не так-то с ним? Обаяние 15. Бред какой-то. Обаяние 20. Бред, что бред какой-то. Ладно. А что у меня тут есть вообще? Так. Так, ладно. Сейчас еще раз попробую. Вот это вот. Если нет, то нет. Да, тогда и похер вообще. Так, мне нужно. У меня сейчас обаяние 10. Но мы можем сделать вот так. Нихуя не поменялось. что так, никакой разницы. Никакой разницы. У нас есть вот это хуйта. Шляпа. Сапоги дворянина. Так, хорошо. Шляпа. Так, отлично. Нет. Нет, ничего не меняется. Ничего не поменялось. О, 12. Неожиданно. Понятно. О, 13. Не нахер не надо. Ничего. Тринадцать это максимум. Да? Питательность. Так, хорошо, посмотрим.
Start talking, or make your peace.
Do
The Lord,
worst. I won't betray my
God be with you.
Well now, fuck.
You need to check.
Вот, у него 13. Ну-ка,
Who
давай.
is this?
Успех.
How did you...
He killed my parents.
Успел.
What?
You could never understand. They were weak. Istvan strong.
Угу.
What is he after?
Are you really that clueless?
How many men does he have?
How should I know?
Есть. Сука, есть.
Listen to me.
Do you take him for a fool?
You better pray he... I won't waste...
I don't need.
Why should he say...
You don't.
Now I'm
Всё.
curious. For a while.
I thought. Anyway, it's clear.
Получен новый уровень красноречия.
Well, Divish, I think the time has come to find out just how much Toth values our hostage. Do you want to parley with him yourself?
I think I'll leave that to you, Hamish.
Это мы все видели. Короче, Фрейда мы получили. Это какое-то секретное достижение. И дальше уже все. Осталось только...
A little. They're unharmed, as you can.
Все, это мы уже все видели. Вот. Что у нас... Так, это мы тоже все видели.
Toth won't...
Оборона завершена. Все, так. Что нужно? Слово надо держать. Хорошо, держим слово. Шлем, поножи. Перчаточки топовые вообще. Парчевая куртка. И... Все. Это на лошадь, это на лошадь. А то это ворованное что-то как-то. Как только буду готов. Я готов. Куда надо идти? Недалеко, хорошо. Ты куда, мразь? Старая. Это тоже мне.
I'm glad you came.
Готов служить.
At your service, sir.
I'm about to give the order to bombard Talmberg.
Bombardment.
And since it's mainly thanks to you that we still have a trebuchet, I think you should have the honor of the first shot.
Это я сразу.
To smash my castle? I can't say I
Блять.
Sorry, sir. I didn't mean it like that.
There's nothing.
Well,
Then see you
Шел
later.
нахрен, дебила, кусок, блядь. Сука. Блядь. Ты че же такой козел ты, блядь. Ну с радостью же, блядь. В смысле с радостью приму эту честь. Мудак, блядь. На лошадь. На лошадь. Все? Все, насрать. Иди-ка сюда ты, старый. Привет, старый.
At your service.
I'm about and since
Я не умею.
Sir, I have no idea how.
Master Keyser and Master Fafar have prepared everything. There's nothing to it. The men will load the trebuchet. All you have to do is pull the
Да,
lever.
это я
Well, I
умею.
suppose I could manage that.
Then we'll bombard Talmberg for several days.
Что?
Sir Robard will explain what comes next. Goodbye.
Хорошо. Я был готов. Теперь мне надо... Что мне надо? Выстрели из трибушета. Поговори с паном Дивишем и приготовься к бою.
God be with you.
What do you think?
He definitely knows what he's doing. And all that wild talk of his, rockets and such like. I'd almost let him try it out, but on some other castle.
Do you think there's any truth in it?
I've never seen such weapons used, so I can't really judge. But if his ideas
Все
worked,
правда, правда.
they'd change the way we make war. He showed me some of the drawings he has with him. I don't know if he's a genius or a madman.
There was precious little in it, and we could have lost everything.
That's how it goes in war. But God stood by us. And in the end, they're nothing but a bunch of filthy cutthroats. They're
Согласен.
sneak thieves and assassins.
Или нет?
But does that make them real soldiers?
Well, they're apt to wait till a man nips off into the bushes to relieve himself, lifts up his chainmail tunic and stab him in the back. Personally, I'd rather face a proper soldier.
Because you know just who you're up against. That's probably why Toth is giving us such a hard time. Take care.
Ладно. Так. Ну чё надо? Ты чё делаешь, блядь? Это мой трибушет, блядь. Я, блядь, буду тут, блядь, всякую хуйню заниматься. Ладно, надо с одним, наверное, поговорить. Ты кто?
The Lord be praised.
Master Fafar.
Much better now that I have Master Keyser to help me.
Next time round, you'll be the siege master.
I rather hope they won't be.
How's work going with Master?
Excellent. His knowledge of machinery and mechanics is absolutely astonishing.
Да
He's a
понятное дело,
very
вы просто
gifted
дно.
man.
So you're confident the trebuchet will do its job?
Absolutely. It's plain to see Master Keyser knows exactly what he's doing.
How much longer do you think it will...
I wouldn't like to hazard a guess. As I understand it.
I see.
So do I, Henry.
We came just in time, didn't we?
Quite. I thought my last hour had come. But Lord Capon came to our defence and fought like a lion. I'd say he's growing into a proper nobleman at last.
I think more people will be changing their minds about him.
They should. I owe him my life. God bless him.
Да, спасибо.
God be with you.
Да храни тебя хранить. Так, что тут? Мне поручено сделать перед... Нужно лишь потянуть за рычаг. Ну вот рычаг. Или вот это рычаг. Чё надо тянуть? Я ваши рычаги рот наоборот. Что за хуета? Где этот? Поговорить с ним.
Are you alright?
All right.
But...
It was Pekar. He's lying right there.
Да знаю я.
And you let him go. You told me to my face that I'd keep
Пошел
out of
нахер.
sight. You hear? I'm a...
Ты чё, больной?
Are you alright?
All right.
Понятно. Это мне не особо помощник. А сколько у меня? Сыты 70, надо пожрать. Так, вот трибушет. Погнали, блядь. Ура! Все, я молодец. Орек.
Divish said...
Sir Divish.
Sir Divish said you tell me what happens next.
Aye. We're going to watch Istvan shittings.
That's all?
For a few days at least. So if you have anything to attend to, now's the time. Just don't forget to come back. Goodbye.
Охуенно, блядь. Красноречие 19. Хрен бы с ним. Статистика. Ремесло. Общее. Где написано, сколько я сэкономил? По-моему, я где-то видел. Съел пищу, насрать. Задание. Диалоги. Блять. На изи подожду, чё. Просто что-то не очень уже охотится все это проходить. Честно, игра отличная, но уже устал. Конечно, 120 часов играть в эту фигню, это долго. Это я еще не выполнил. Мне там нужно, что там нужно-то. Выполнить связки, ну, комбо, короче. Выполнишь комбо, получишь там 100 штук их надо выполнить. Получишь ачивку. Тут ачивки ни хрена не такие простые, блин, как кажется. Особенно если учитывать, что их можно просрать просто. Вот как 2 пальца. Так. Осада, поговори с сотником Бора. Подожди, пока закончится. Ага, осада, хорошо.
Is something the matter?
A few of them have taken to their heels. If they stop in Kuttenberg, I'll be glad enough. But I fear they may have other plans.
If those were the best of Istvan's men, they could be lurking in the woods. They'll probably wait to attack us at the worst possible moment.
My fear exactly. I won't breathe easy until Toth is hanging from the gate. But in the meantime, I'll be glad to know the woods at my back are clear. Can I count on you?
Of course, Sir Ivar. Would you like me to bring back their gear as evidence they're dead?
That's not necessary. I trust you, Hal. You don't even have to do the killing. Just let me know where you find them, and that'll be that. There's no need for you to get hurt.
Я всех захуячу вообще, просто на изи.
Take care.
Ёп твою мать. Ну, погнали. Понятно. Тут можно пройти? Хренов тут можно сделать. Давай, 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 отдыхай. В смысле, где я его нашел? Где он? Чё? А, так, думал. Чё? А, блядь. Придурок. А, блядь. Все? Так. Мне нужно вот это. И это мне прям позарез надо. И это все. Что это такое? Так, ладно. Это трибушет был или что это за звук такой? Как будто моя лошадь выстроила замок просто или... Уи! Нормуль. Так, погнали. Занимаюсь хуйней. Главное пройти игру. А дальше можно опять будет загрузить вот это вот перед нападением на этот враники. Что там? Враник. Так, спасибо. Классические говномухи. Сука, вот тут есть. Здорово, олени. сука. Да. Ну да, вроде туда иду. Проблем. О! Вот он. На, блядь, на, сука, блядь, на, блядь, да сколько можно, блядь, умери. Это было хорошо. Ой, ёб твою мать. А как тут спуститься на коне аккуратненько? А, это требушет. Да. Ну ладно. Нет, звук прикольный, конечно. Немного реализма не помешает в этой игре. Точнее, в принципе, в играх я считаю, что это иногда полезно. Потому что обычно реализм где-то не то что ушел в соседнее здание, он скорее на другое полушарие переселился. Такой переехал в играх. Не, ну иногда просто в страну другую переехал. Но здесь он хотя бы где-то на соседней улице. Во-во-во-во. Какой-то огонь. Вот здесь, наверное, есть лагерь. Да. Who's this? Это я. Блядь, можно пройти? Да это я. Ты чё, охуел? Стреляет оно в меня, блядь, иди нахуй. А кто еще здесь? Так, это лошадь. А, здорово. Я, блядь, тебя, сука, зарублю, блядь. На, блядь. Все. Так. Что у вас тут в сундуке? Ничего. Так. Единственное, что мне от этого сундука нужно было, это вскрытие. Ну, сундука вскрытие, соответственно, вскрытие замка. Сколько мне осталось еще? Чуть-чуть осталось-то. Вообще нет ничего. 5%. Кстати. У меня здесь есть булава пристава. В сумку. И здесь я хочу... Я хочу ее попробовать. Потом. Буду ходить вот... игрок бой. Бой с мечом 20. Да паром 20. Булавой вот 6. Почему бы булавой не подраться? Все. Погнали. лагерь. Хуягерь, блядь. Ну все. Походу сейчас мы расхерашим. Как его там? О. Шу. Прикольно. Сейчас будет дыдыщ. Дыдыщ,
I found all of their campsites. The rest of the woods are clear.
That's a relief. Now let's relieve ourselves of this.
О, выполнил осаду.
I'm here.
Can't you see we're still bombarding? See you later.
Все.
Since Sir Divish's colours still aren't flying over Talmberg, I suppose we'll be attacking.
Just so. That Istvan's a stubborn bastard.
All right, when do we start?
There's no reason to wait. Are you really ready? If you need to rest or anything, we can you won't have another chance until we've won the day. Or until your final.
I'm ready.
Glad to hear it. We're going to attack on two fronts. The north gate and the west wall, which will scale with ladders. The attack will be split into different stages. Taking the outer walls, the inner bailey, and finally the core of the castle and the tower.
What about the living quarters?
There, I'm worried most about the hostages. Once we're inside, Istvan will know to...
Ладно, давайте
How are we
поговорим.
going to attack the gate?
Ой.
We'll try to do as much damage as we can with the trebuchet.
Интересно, надолго битва будет?
Caesar claims he can even hit it directly. Even if that's true, we'll have to charge through a downpour of enemy arrows all the way to the portcullis.
Portcullis?
Fortunately, it's wooden, so we'll be able to break it down. But dealing with the defense in the bailey won't be easy.
And what's the plan for attacking the west wall?
First, we have to get men to the wall with ladders, which is no easy matter under fire, so we'll need as many men covering them as possible. As soon as the ladders are in place, our foot soldiers will run up and try to scale the wall. Once a few of them get to the battlements, we should quickly gain the upper hand.
Хорошо.
How will we take the battlements?
Either by scaling the west wall, or our men at the gate will help. If they can break through, that is.
And the inner bailey?
That will be tough. Even if we get through the gate and into the outer bailey, we're still a long way from victory. The castle is designed so we'll be like hens in a coop to anyone with a bow on the inner battlements. We'll have to either fight our way through, or somehow get around them.
Все сказал? Ну и
I think I've heard everything I need to know.
Do you want to join the attack on the walls or on the gate? Remember, many of the Skalitz men will follow you. It could make a big difference.
I'll help with the attack on the walls.
I'm proud of you, Henry. You've changed from an insolent pup into a tough, reliable fighter. And as God is my witness, we will kick those whore sons' arses.
Да, в основном
A
я.
village lad and an old soldier. This man must be shaking in his boots.
If he's not shaking, then he doesn't know what he's got.
Шутеечки такие чешские, средневековые.
No matter
И
how
не
good
каждый
the plan
поймет,
is, something always
но
gets
многие
fucked up.
вспомнят.
Keep your eyes open and take advantage of every chance. Help your comrades and don't go rushing in where you're outnumbered. We have to take the castle gradually, one position after another.
I'll remember that.
Good luck to you, stripling.
Good luck to you, old soldier.
I'll be with you.
Все сказали. Полезали друг другу в очко. Придурки. О, Яна. Но у него прикольный доспех. Речь все-таки бомжеват. В заставках. Опа, черек. То есть вы бомбили 2 дня. А он такой целый? Вы чё, бомбили окрестности? Да, ребят. Такие все бойцы. Придурки, блядь. А потом я и как ее там, Тереза, начала задачу в бой. Хорошо. Штурмуй стены. Блядь, что за говно? Что? Вы видели, у него головы не было. Это всадник без головы. Это лестница без людей. Черт, суетнись. У меня нет щита. Не похуй. В смысле? А что это они трупиками? Насрать. Бомбардмент. Так, здрасте. А тут кто? Ах ты ж пидор. А, я же это. Точно, я с булавой. Получил. Ха! Добить? На, сука, на, сука. Ни хрена, прикольное добивание. Совсем. Ничего мог, кто сделал. Ты чё, обалдел? На, блядь. Блять, прикольно, конечно. Но я ни хера не понимаю, кто меня пиздит. На. О! Владислав тыкающий. Так. Ух ты, блядь! На, блядь. А, сука. Это ж пиздюк. Криворукий. Ну, блядь, бей его нахрен. Бей. Бей. Слава Богу, блин. Вот так вот. Что у нас тут еще? Затыкиваем его, блядь. Все. Добить тоже нахер. О, у меня сейчас будет ХП восстанавливаться. Давай. Эти не в бою. Но эти тут... Да, понятно. Так, сейчас ФПС, да? Да, кто его нахуй. Заминусили. Еще одного надо заминусить. Да блин, ты что ты его, блин, да умри ты его. Так, на всякий случай. Надо гасить всех. Звуки борьбы. Они, конечно, так. Получен новый уровень ловкости. Репутация повышена.
Sir, we should give the order.
Let's see if Istvan Toth can worm his way out of this one.
Don't tempt fate, Hanish.
Ну,
Istvan!
загасили всех.
It's over! You want us to come and get you?
I wouldn't advise that. Your friend Divish wants to see his wife alive again.
And Sir Radzig? Are both hostages unharmed?
For now, Hanush, unless circumstances change.
Well, I'm glad to hear it. My guest is also safe and sound, but he's also quite keen to go home. I imagine you feel the same way. It's been a long time since you warmed yourself at your own hearth.
I'm in no hurry. I've plenty of supplies here, grand view and excellent company. What more could I want?
Your freedom!
Freedom? Freedom to get an arrow in the back?
Sir, you're all noblemen here. All bound by honor. I give you my word as a knight and lord, and that of my companions. If you release Lady Stephanie and Sir Radzig, you may leave the castle with your men and go on your way unharmed.
And just how far will we get? What good will it do me if your men attack us in the woods instead of here?
If you give me your word of honor that you will leave and never return, I promise you safe passage to the boundary of this fiefdom. What happens after that is up to you and the will of God Almighty.
Very well then, but I want a small safeguard. I'll give you her ladyship, but Radzig comes with me. I'll release him in Skalitz.
Out of the question! Is our word not good enough for you?
Is mine not good enough for you? I swear I'll release him when I get to a safe distance.
I'll go with him, Hanush. Let the Lady Stephanie have her freedom now.
Father!
Don't worry, son. I trust Lord Toth's self-interest more than his word. He wouldn't be fool enough to harm me.
If you're certain, Radzig.
Prepare horses and supplies, and tell your men to pull back. We'll
Какой-то
come down.
между собойчик.
You heard him. Get to work. And any man who breaks his truce answers to me.
Все сказал.
So, are you really going to let them go?
My word is my bond, Henry.
He's a cutthroat and a liar. Good men are dead because of him. What's to stop us from skewering him as soon as he sets foot outside?
Our honor.
If you let him go, he'll do the same again. Or worse.
God's justice will find him. Then, he'll get a taste of my mace.
If we break our word of honor, we have none. And without honor, we are nothing. Never fear. Your father will be all right.
We'll hunt down those vermin yet.
Давай бабу отдавай. Трахнутую.
Bring the horses.
А я потом тебе пизды валю.
Here she is, as I promised. Not a hair on her head harmed.
Divish.
И тут их пикай двоих сразу и на шампу.
For letting them into the castle.
Come now, my dear. You're not to blame.
I didn't know who he was. He said he was your friend.
Never mind. Did he hurt you?
No.
Вот она, графика
I hope your word can be
хреновая.
trusted.
Когда у тебя нет топ-компа.
Everything goes as agreed. I'll set Radzig free in Scalise. If anyone tries to follow us, I'll kill him.
We won't.
А я поеду, наверное, да?
My apologies for keeping you from your father, but you'll see each other soon enough. Oh, I almost forgot. Your sword. I expect you'll want it back after all the trouble you went to. Actually, you know what? I think I'll keep it. As a memento.
This isn't over. I'll find you.
I look forward to it. Yeah!
Quick! To the battlements! We have to see which way they go! Oh, they really are heading for Scalise. Mount up, Henry.
You've heard what he'll do if we follow them.
We're not going to follow them. We just have to collect your father. Or do you want him to walk back here when they release him?
Ой, блядь. Как думаешь, чё, блядь? А, ну, короче, просто так.
The way you found Tom, sneaking into Brandon Road. You wouldn't catch me doing that.
Truth is, I didn't think much about it. I just felt I had to do it.
Я просто тупой, я понял. Так скажи.
What should I say to him?
Don't worry, it'll come to you. You'll see.
Well, I just hope he'll be there. Alive.
Untitled
now.
Not long ago, I only made plans 3 days ahead at most. Maybe I really could do something.
Черт, блядь.
This is quite a
What do you mean?
Да ёпрсты, вы издеваетесь? Мне так долго ехать, что ли, из этой говна?
Something like that.
Before that, I was chasing wenches around Rattay and you were digging turnips. And now look at us. A pair of veterans.
I was an apprentice blacksmith, not a turnip digger.
Same difference, you silly bugger.
Наверно. Да, это похоже на то, что это конец. Блин, 20 уровень так и не апнул. Это капец вообще. О!
There's no sign of them. Move on. Glad to see Istvan kept his word, sir.
Not half as glad as I am, Your Grace.
Well, we kept our word too. And now Toth has had his head start and he's fair game. Which way do they go?
To the north, but I would be careful, Sir Hans.
Fear not, Your Grace. I have twice as many men as he. Well, I won't keep you any longer. I'm sure the two of you have a lot to say to each other. Let's go!
Alright, Father?
I am. They treated me quite decently. Although they did steal my horse, so I'll have to go back on foot.
Ёпрсты. Чуть, блядь, наушники не оторвался.
Not by a long shot. It won't be over until we get this mess cleared up.
Catch that bastard. How could we let him go?
Would you rather we killed him? Even if it meant Lady Stephanie and I died too?
No, of course not. But what was to stop us from killing him after the exchange?
Honor?
Honor?
If the word of honor of a nobleman could not be trusted, then he would never have agreed to the exchange.
And where's the honor in abandoning your son?
You know how it is. We were young. It happened. And I couldn't marry a commoner. Then your father, Martin, came along and took care of both of you.
He knew it.
What? That I was your father? Certainly. He was a great man. He took you as his own. And always kept an eye on you.
Так,
That you can be
из
sure.
замка такой курил и смотрел.
I know so little about his past.
He told you nothing. Oddly enough, even though you don't have his blood, you're very like him. When he was around your age, he became bored of his trade and set out to see the world. He lived through many adventures, even fought in a war.
In a war?
Yes, in Poland, I believe. And I don't think he cared much for it.
That's why he wanted me to stay at home.
He spent some time in Prague, then settled in Kuttenberg. But it seems he quarreled with someone there and finally ended up here. You know the rest.
I loved him, but even so, I somehow always had a feeling I didn't quite fit in.
It was in your blood, I suppose.
I lost the one thing I had left from him. Your sword.
Ah. The sword. It's not my sword. It's yours. For a moment there, it was so near, yet so far. Oh, well, it can't be helped.
It was almost within my grasp, but just then I had something else on my mind.
Well, I think we may yet have a chance to get it back. This business with Toth is not yet over, unfortunately.
That's a chance I'd welcome.
Типа будет
not just to get the sword,
продолжение,
but
да,
that
вторая
bastard
часть,
Istvan too. And then I'll find
для
that
которой
German
нужно будет
whoreson who torched Skalitz,
видеокарта
and I'll
минимум
slay him with it.
3090, да?
I'll never forget his face. Or his name. Mark Vart von Aulitz.
Those are noble intentions, son. But don't forget there are other things in this world that are worth living for.
Like what?
Look around you. Blue skies overhead, green grass underfoot, beautiful girls. Good wine, a few good friends, and a fine steed under your backside. Those are things worth living for. Now, I can't deny that swine who killed your mother must pay for what he did. But it's better not to dwell too much on that at the cost of those other things. On the subject of steeds, I think we'll have to ride like the Knights Templar.
How's that?
2 up. One day I'll tell you how they got their seal. You can take the front. It's like I always imagined it would be, teaching my boy to ride. Although it would be better if you were a little smaller. My word, it's all go today, isn't it? I wonder who this is.
I think I know. It's Margrave Jobst.
The king's cousin? I wonder what he wants. I guess we'll find out soon enough.
Kingdom Come Deliverance. Warhol Studio, directed by Daniel Vavra. Какая странная музыка. Ладно, в целом зашибись. Все. Закончилась эта эпопея. Потом как-нибудь, может быть, еще поиграю сам. Посмотрю все вот это вот. Улучшу некоторые вещи. Там красноречие надо до максимума улучшить. Просто левел повысить до максимума. По-моему, все надо увеличить это до максимума. Ну, это как-нибудь там потихонечку, полигонечку сделаю. А может и нет. Сейчас-то я где-то 120 часов прошел. Чё ж теперь? Bible. Motion Capture. Ну, тут понятно, короче, до хрена чехов всяких. Блин, чтобы поиграть теперь после этой игры, надо что-то простое такое, легенькое, чтобы расслабиться. Как-то под финальные титры они не очень музыку, как по мне, выбрали. Хотя, возможно, это та же группа, которая это... Песня из трейлера Hellblade Senua's Saga. Hellblade 2, которая... Хотя, хрен знает, может, нет. Просто капец. Как долго идут титры, а? Чё, все? Новая песня. А. Все? Закрыть это прям закрыть? Окей. Ёпта, еще что-то. Неплохая заставочка.
You're doing well, son.
Father.
Come
Ты
now.
чё там глюканы-то ловишь?
You know whose side you.
That doesn't matter now. I miss you, Amar. I miss you very much.
You'll be fine. We're proud of you.
For what? I let you down. I lost the sword. I let that bastard get away.
Don't be so hard on yourself. There was nothing you could have done to save us. And someone has to live and carry the torch. As for the sword, it's just a thing.
You didn't want me fighting. Now look at me.
Standing up to evil isn't the same as sowing its seeds. You did what was right. have to leave you now.
Oh, please.
You know I can't stay.
Will I ever see you again?
God knows. Make her proud.
Все, ушли в закат. Неплохо. Ты чё? Блять, больной ублюдок.
What on earth were you dreaming about? I couldn't wake you, and it's well past dawn. Sir Radzig wants you at the upper castle. The lords are in council with Jobst.
Jobst!
Right.
Jobst!
I'll go straight away.
Чё, еще не все? Ну, блин, уже даже заставка была, уже все.
What is it?
It's just... I don't know how to address you anymore. All of a sudden you're Sir Radzig's son, hobnobbing with lords and ladies. And here's me, as common as muck.
Oh, give over, you idiot. Do I look like a lord to you?
Not really. You're as much a lord as I am a nun. And I've never looked good in a habit.
Get out of here! Or I'll have you clapped in the stocks.
Так. И... Там ачивку, может, мне дадут, да? Ты на частной территории. Хорошо. Я игру прошел, да? Игра сохранена. И, блядь, задание началось. Эпилог. А месть? Так, похуй. Все. Так, быстрей. Сытость 120. Что это у меня сытость 120? Я что это там обожрался-то всего? Ты чё, блядь, не мог что ли? А, понятно.
Ah, Hal. Are you going to the meeting with Margrave Jobst as well?
I am. What about Istvan? I assume...
That we didn't catch him? No. Because if we had, you'd be the first one to know. Have no fear. We'll get him eventually.
I hope you're right. Anyway, let's go and see what Jobst wants from us.
Да ёпросты, сколько ж тут этих-то? Каст-центов в конце. Я думал, уже все. Прошел этот, титры.
My lords, Christ's blessings on you all.
And on you, Lord Capon.
О, какой-то
And this is my son, Henry.
I didn't know you had a son, Sir Radzig.
It came as a bit of a surprise to young Henry, too.
This gentleman here is John II of Liechtenstein, a
Yeah,
member of my council.
I'm honored, gentlemen.
Хорошо.
Come join us. Margrave Jobst was just about to tell us the reason for his visit. Your Grace?
I'm sure we're all agreed, Your Graces, that all this unrest must come to an end.
Да, я
This
согласен.
kingdom needs a king.
The question is, which king?
My cousin, Wenceslas IV, who is being held in captivity.
I have to confess, my lord, that your answer surprises me a little. If I'm correctly informed, until recently you sided with your other cousin, Sigismund.
That I cannot deny, and I have always stated my position plainly. But times have changed.
How have they changed, Your Grace?
Sir, there is one thing on which we undoubtedly concur. That King Wenceslas, unfortunately, did not inherit his father's gift for governing. Sadly, his failures have cost Bohemia, the nobles, and our whole Luxembourg family a great deal of money and effort.
How did the king let it go so far, damn it?
It's in his temperament. He cares only for wine, women, and the hunt.
Классический король.
King, in fact, who never wanted to be king.
Then why didn't he just let his brother have the crown?
Young sir, the crown weighs heavy when there are duties to be performed, but to surrender it means giving up great privileges too.
But he did surrender power to his brother. When things started getting out of hand, Wenceslas appealed to Sigismund for help in restoring order.
What, you're saying Wenceslas invited him here?
This is starting to make my head spin.
Actually, it makes sense when you think about it. Sigismund wanted to re-establish the power of the whole House of Luxembourg. He thought if he helped Wenceslas win the imperial crown, in return his brother would help him become the king of the Romans, and leave the actual reign of Bohemia and the empire to him. Sigismund would govern, while Wenceslas could carry on doing what he was best at, enjoying the life of the imperial court.
Why wasn't Wenceslas crowned Holy Roman Emperor long ago? He was already elected king of the Romans. All he had to do was go and let the Pope put the damn imperial crown on his head.
Who knows? Maybe he'd prefer hunting and consorting with bathhouse wenches to spending time with the Pope.
Well, so would I must admit.
Sigismund's plan seemed sound enough, but it didn't quite work out, did it?
It worked for a while. He and his brother reached an agreement. Sigismund took over administration of the kingdom and began planning Wenceslas's journey to Rome for the imperial coronation. But then Wenceslas realized he would just be a puppet with a crown.
I must say, Margrave Jobst, Wenceslas and Prokop behave rather like naughty children in need of a good clout about the ears.
Sigismund would agree. He was already planning his rule of Bohemia, and all of a sudden, the rug was pulled from under him. I'd say he lost his patience and decided he'd drag Wenceslas to the coronation kicking and screaming if he had to. Just like a naughty child, as you say.
So he abducted him and your brother Prokop too, if I heard correctly.
Correct.
And you helped him do it, if I heard correctly.
Yes, your graces, it's true. I was there when Sigismund abducted Prokop. I thought everything could somehow be settled, that we could make my brother see sense. But Sigismund just wanted to put an end to the dispute once and for all, whatever the cost. There was nothing I could do to stop him.
Короче, это затравка на вторую часть.
The worst of it is that it was all for nothing. Instead of putting a stop to the revolt, it escalated it, and the result is this chaos we have today.
That's true enough, sir. But I must admit now, I'm not sure what your position is. The king is incompetent, but we must protect him?
The simple truth, gentlemen, is that for all of Wenceslas's faults, we have no one else.
So we'll have to make do with his idleness.
People like him, though.
But what can we do now? Sigismund has the League of Lords behind him. Otto von Bergolf, Heinrich von Rosenberg.
The situation has gotten completely out of control. Now even the nobles of the League of Lords are realizing that Sigismund wasn't the right choice.
So now Bergolf is on your side. Are we to assemble an army together with him and face Sigismund on the field of battle?
We're not in Hungary now. Such affairs may be settled elegantly, without unnecessary hostilities or expenses.
Но у нас
I
есть
have negotiated an alliance.
Он может один 100 человек убить.
The Polish, and of course the Czech nobility, against Sigismund. Every day he is losing the ground under his feet, and that's why I need your help too.
Все? Нет?
What kind of help, though? Sigismund has a massive army, and Rosenberg, Berghoff, and Prague are behind him. Do you have an army you could face him with?
But that's not what I mean at all. There's been a revolt against Sigismund in Hungary, partly due to my efforts, and now he'll have to choose whether he wants to gain the Bohemian crown, which is a very risky enterprise, or hold on to the Hungarian one. He can't have both. And there's a tough struggle awaiting him in Hungary. I'm not sure he'll win, and Rosenberg and Berghoff know it too. They're not stupid. If the Bohemian nobility stands together, they will turn.
We are men of little consequence, Margrave. Radzig here lost everything because of his alliance with Wenceslas. Sir Divish came within a hair of the same fate. Even Rattay is defenseless against Sigismund and the League of Lords.
What's more, Your Grace, King Wenceslas languishes in captivity in Vienna. He can't rule too well from there.
And what do you propose? To sit with your arms folded till the Bohemian lands are turned to ashes like Skalitz? We have to put a stop to this senseless war!
And do you know, sir, what the true position of the League of Lords is?
I'm not on the best of terms with them at this moment, so you'll have to ask them yourselves.
Yes. Why not? I'll go and visit Berghoff at his castle and we'll see what he tells me.
You know, that's not such a bad idea, young sir.
True. Though a little risky.
I doubt Berghoff would harm a blue-blooded envoy. And you can find out what he has to say about developments and what the League of Lords is planning. Then we'll decide what to do next.
I'll help you compose a letter to him.
I'd like Henry to come with me.
Началось.
Why not? He's proven himself an able investigator, and he'll also be a good bodyguard if anything should happen.
And I'll send Sir John here to Kuttenberg to be my eyes and ears there. I believe both your reports will help us get a better grip on the situation.
When can you set out?
Just as soon as I've packed my things.
Excellent. Margrave Jobst and I will draft the letter. Get ready, and we'll meet back here.
I expect it would be best to write it in your name as Lord of Light.
Поговорите с отцом. Пошел нах.
So, it looks like you're off on a mission.
Yes, I can't wait.
I don't want to dampen your spirits, my boy, but watch out. These are evil times, and who knows what can happen along the way. Not to mention that Berghoff is no saint.
Don't worry.
I know. You've shown you can fend for yourself, but do take care. You'll be traveling as Lord Capon's bodyguard. You'll be there to make sure nothing untoward happens to him. Keep your eyes peeled and your ears wide open. What Berghoff tells you is one thing, but what you see may be quite another.
Rest assured, Father.
And don't get embroiled in anything else. Just hand over the letter, hear out his reply, and return.
Yes.
Very well. Berghoff is at Trotsky Castle. I think you'll find it quite an eye-opener. It's one of the finest castles in the land. It's 3 days' ride from here, so unless you hit a snag along the way, you'll be back soon enough. Any questions?
Началось.
I'm getting a bit lost in the Luxembourg lineage. It all seems a bit too tangled.
The Luxembourgs have ruled the Empire and Bohemia for almost 100 years now. Emperor Charles brought this land to prominence. When he was in power, things had never been so good. Wenceslas and Sigismund are his sons, but by different mothers. Jobst and Prokop are their cousins. They were entrusted with governing Moravia. But instead, they've been in a bitter armed feud for years. And now Sigismund's fallen out with Wenceslas. Wenceslas also had another brother, the youngest, John of Görlitz, who was most probably poisoned. They seem like a hot-blooded lot. It's hard to keep up with their affairs, since they tend to change their alliances from one day to the next.
Who is he really, this Jobst?
The cousin of King Wenceslas. He's the Margrave of Moravia. I admit I don't know what to make of him myself. Until recently, he was allied with the League of Lords.
По ачивкам говорится все, что она закончилась.
Against the king, and now suddenly he's reversed his position. I don't know what led him to do it, and one can't help being suspicious. It's best to keep a watchful eye on him, but he really is the leader of the resistance against Sigismund these days. We'll just have to see how it all turns out.
I'm a bit concerned so many people seem to think so little of King Wenceslas. You knew him, didn't you? What's he really like?
Well, There's no straightforward answer to that question. He certainly makes a great hunting and drinking companion, but he can be very fiery and impetuous when things don't go how he'd like them. He never had much of a head for high office. He finds it tiresome. But once a man's grasped the scepter, it's hard to let it go again. You can't just abscond. You've seen for yourself what happens when he disappears for a few months. Better a bad but legitimate king than a bloody war over the throne.
Oh.
Who is this Prokop that Job spoke of?
Job's brother, the king's cousin. He and Jobs warred over Moravian supremacy for years. Then they were allies for a while, betrayed Wenceslas and sided with Rupert of the Palatinate. But after Sigismund abducted Wenceslas, Prokop fomented a revolt against him, and Sigismund had him captured. Politics. Make of it what you will. I, for one, can't make head or tail of it most of the time.
The League of Lords and that Berghoff we're off to see. Who are they exactly?
The lords of the powerful houses. Heinrich of Rosenberg, Otto of Berghoff, Heinrich of Radetz, and others. They're unhappy with the way their influence declined after Wenceslas surrounded himself with the lesser orders of nobility. They abducted the king years ago and made him bow to their will. They got away with it that time, and now they've joined forces with Sigismund and done it again. But now it seems that Sigismund's behavior is starting to rub them up the wrong way. So they may well be thinking twice. We'll see what Berghoff has to say.
I don't know all that much about Sigismund.
He's the king's younger brother and king of Hungary in his own right. 7 years ago, he led a crusade against the Turks and was defeated at Nicopolis. Some say it was due to the recklessness of the French knights, most of whom were mercilessly slaughtered. Sigismund is ambitious and capable. He might well make a better ruler than Wenceslas, but he's arrogant, and to our misfortune, brutal. Not long ago, he himself was held captive by the Hungarian nobility. They dislike him as much as some of the Czech and German noblemen do his brother Wenceslas. Ironically, Wenceslas joined forces with Jobst to liberate him. And now this is how Sigismund repays his brother. There's no doubt about it. God does move in mysterious ways.
Все? Спасибо.
Rupert of the Palatinate. That's a name I hadn't heard before today.
Rupert is the Prince-Elector of the Palatinate.
What's a Prince-Elector?
The Prince-Electors are dignitaries of the Holy Roman Empire who have the right to elect the King of the Romans, who would then be crowned Holy Roman Emperor by the Pope. Rupert took the title for himself with the help of 3 other Prince-Electors, even though Wenceslas had already been appointed. Some of the nobility in the empire recognized Rupert's claim, but when he went to Rome to be crowned emperor, it turned into a fiasco. Now he's doing his utmost to get Wenceslas to acknowledge him, but so far without success. So, now we have 2 kings of the Romans. Jobst sided with Sigismund for a while, but now he's switched allegiance. He seems to do that quite a lot.
Да, я понял, все мудаки.
That young man, Sir John of Liechtenstein. Why is he here?
The Liechtensteins are a powerful Austrian family, with estates in Austria and Moravia. Sir John sits on Jobst's council. Since the king's being held captive in Vienna, I suppose it makes sense to have a powerful Austrian house as allies. It could be very useful.
Ура!
Very well. Take the letter from Sir Hanush. And good luck, son.
Спасибо. Взять письмо.
I believe we have written it well, gentlemen.
Without a doubt. No one could deduce from this whether we are Sigismund's allies or foes.
I must travel back to Brno now, but soon I will go to Brandenburg and I will stop here on the way back. By then, Sir Capon should be back and we can discuss how to proceed.
Right. Before you leave, my lord, there is one thing that gives me no rest. Why did Sigismund come as a foe? It makes no sense.
If I may, sir, I think I can explain.
Oh, please enlighten us, young sir.
I live not far from Hungary, where Sigismund reigns. It is a savage country, and the constant war with the Turks has hardened the people. They need a monarch with an iron hand. So when Sigismund felt the wind of revolt, he reacted as he would at home. Only what works on the Hungarian nobles does not work here in Bohemia.
Bringing order is one thing, but slaughtering and pillaging with a horde of barbarians quite another. What purpose does that serve?
But Sigismund did give the Bohemian nobles a chance to take his side. It was only when they refused his ultimatum that he lost patience and took to the sword.
As for the barbarians, he could afford nothing better. The Hungarian nobility would gain nothing from joining his campaign in Bohemia. He didn't have enough coin for a regular army, and so he recruited the Cumans. What he does not pay them, they make up for in plunder.
But in the end, he didn't have enough to even satisfy the Cumans. That's why he raided Gutenberg and Skalitz. He wanted the silver.
That makes sense.
My lords, how's the letter coming along?
It's done.
Then we can be on our way.
Now remember what we said, boy. All you have to do is deliver the letter, listen to the answer, and come back here. Don't provoke Berghoff in any way.
Provoke? Me? Never, Uncle. We'll be back in a few days. Farewell, your graces. Come, Henry, my men are waiting.
I wish you Godspeed.
Ну, я взял письмо.
Come now, Hal. My men are mustered in the courtyard. We can get going.
Ну все, надо это заканчивать. Моя лошадь. Блин, я думал, что сесть и все.
So, can we set off now, Henry?
Of course. I can't wait.
So, to horse! The Lord of Berghoff is bound to be waiting us eagerly.
Давай, уходим в закат и хорош.
So, how is life on the Highborn Pass?
I'm getting used to it.
What about Rodzig? Has he accounted for not owning up to you the whole time?
He explained it. All will be well, I think.
Glad to hear it. It's far more acceptable for a nobleman to befriend a noble bastard than a blacksmith's son.
Mind you, don't come to blows with a blacksmith, my young lord. What do you think about Sir Jobst and his plan?
Well, I admit all the scheming has me a little lost. I thought Sigismund was the devil, Wenceslas a martyr, those on his side the heroes, and those against him the villains. I believed we'd rescue the king and all would be well again, but now it looks a lot more complicated.
Exactly. I didn't expect the noble lords to be as noble as the angels, but I hadn't expected such a sewer. They behave like children.
I can't fathom how after all this backstabbing they're somehow still on speaking terms.
I don't know either. Beggar's belief.
Давай.
Did you know that King Wenceslas is such a Such a...
Feckless drunkard? Not really. And to be honest, I'm not sure I wanted to know. I slept better, believing my fate was watched over by a wise and powerful monarch.
So did I.
What a dismal world when you can't keep trust in your own king.
On the other hand, times were better with him here than with him gone.
Isn't that the truth?
What do you think of Sigismund?
If I were him, I'd have had enough of my brother even sooner.
But he's a monster. Look at what those hordes of his are getting up to here. What he did in Skalitz.
Просто, просто. Сколько уже, наверное, минут 40 это заставки после последней битвы.
No one forced him to burn Skalitz.
That's a fact. But he couldn't let them shit all over him either. Not that I'm defending him.
He's a weasel.
No doubt about that.
Все, поговорили? Давай, хорош.
Do you know anything about Prokop?
Ha! Sir Hanush could tell you a thing or two about him.
Why?
Last winter, a certain Sir Jan Sokol of Lamberg, a well-known knight, or robber baron to some, tried to occupy the city of Iglau, which was on the orders of none other than Prokop.
And what has that got to do with Hanush?
Well, he was there with him. Of course, that's not something to brag about in front of Jobst.
And what was it all about?
They wanted to occupy a city that was on the side of the League of Lords, but despite there being several hundred strong, they didn't take it. For one thing, they couldn't get past the Iglau women, with their pitchforks and cauldrons of hot water.
I would never have thought of Sir Hanush as such a rebel. And have you heard anything about Rupert of the Palatinate?
A little. He can't manage even to wrest power from a king who doesn't much care for ruling and isn't fighting back. That doesn't seem like a man who has what it takes to rule. And that's all I need to know.
And that Berghoff we're going to see, do you know anything about him?
I haven't heard much good about him, but I have a feeling that some other nobles are quite in awe of him. And his castle is apparently quite impressive. I'll be interested to see for myself.
And what about the League of Lords?
Wealthy, pompous. The king doesn't seem to like them much. He's chosen to let the lesser ranks of the nobility into his circle, men like your father. I admit I don't blame him one bit. But the lords weren't happy about their lost influence, so they put their foot down. If I were Wenceslas, I'd have let them hang after they abducted me the first time. But he gave them seats at the provincial council? Little wonder they're back at their old tricks.
Я кого-нибудь убить хочу. Можешь кого-нибудь убить, нет? Желательно вот пана. Он медленно едет. Ну, в принципе, насрать, как быстро ехать. Вот уже Нойхов, уже к Нойхову приехали. Давай, хорош уже. Так, наверное, скоро дойдем до края карты и все. Мы, получается, на восток едем, да? Да. Ага, мы идем к краю карты. За все это время даже 15 зелий не сделал. Разных. Давай. Еще с собакой хожу. Здорово. Пожалуйста, я уже хочу закончить эту игру. Мне нужна ачивка, чтобы я закончил. Там она есть, давай. Блять, если откроется еще одна какая-то огромная область, блять, и окажется, что там дохуя еще скрытых ачивок, я тебя убью, блять. Мне обещали, перед тем, как я с тобой поехал, что это конец. Мне обещала игра. Давай, пожалуйста. Все, вот она, все. Финишная прямая. А что это такое? Ой, как-то это... Такое ощущение, что тут наедалово сейчас будет. Ты что в моей собаке застрял? Ой, придурок. Ой, долбоёб. Ты чё? Ты А, во. Проехал. Чего? Чё нужно? Здрасте. Ты кто? Садись. Блин, ну садятся они нормально.
Well, if it isn't the world-renowned victor of the rat-eye tourney.
Well, young sir, what now? Shall we ride boldly forth to adventures new?
I never took you for a romantic soul. But as it happens...
What, here? Now?
Ah, that's just the thing. Here we are, about to ride off into the unknown. Well, who knows what fate has in store for us? What if we should fall as heroes on the battlefield? How could I depart this world?
I'm a little worried about you, sir. Aren't you getting overheated inside that armor?
Look, I can't just go off and get my head chopped off somewhere without first winning the heart of the girl I love. So are you going to help me or not?
Well, couldn't we do...
We could. If we get...
Yeah, I suppose.
See you later.
Подожди, пока птачек прибудет в лагерь. Он еще не прибыл. Что, блядь?
Greeting.
Are you wishing you'd stayed...
You must be joking. I haven't had so...
Really? Despite being wounded? Actually, you missed the best part. When I was hauling you like a sack of grain to the battlements, dead to the world.
It can't have been that much fun if I fell asleep. But you might have handled me a bit more gently. I'm black and blue all over.
Oh, all right then. Next time I'll just leave you to Istvan's tender mercies.
Nonsense. What would you do without me? Still, thank you for hauling me out of there.
Anything for you, my lord.
Take care.
С какими нахуй ухаживаниями? Так вот делается нахрен. Почему сытость-то у меня такая большая? Ладно. Может, надо туда просто пройти.
This is certainly no time for roving.
God be with you.
I've changed. How very. You, Hal, shall be my messenger of love.
Why me?
Certainly. I must court her secretly. Mr.
And who is this?
The fairest maid that ever walked the earth. Caroline.
Carolina. I do know her. She's a pretty girl.
Love knows no station. Your task is...
What happened?
Хрен бы с ним.
Oh, all right.
I lost it.
So, some...
My great...
what's...
Well...
Goodbye. Good luck then.
Чего? Эпилог у меня. Мне нужно просто уйти. Подожди, пока птачек прибудет в лагерь. Если, короче, сейчас нельзя будет ничего выбрать, кроме вот этого помощи ему в этих любовных его еблишках, то хрен бы с ним.
Good gracious, it's Henry.
Are you wishing you'd stayed home at Raton?
You must be joking.
Really? And
Well, look.
Oh well. The sooner we get...
Not to worry, Henry. Your role in this affair is of the...
What role?
You, Hal, shall be my... The fair...
Короче.
So... God be with you.
Понятно. Хрен бы с ним. Потом все это остальное. На этом я заканчиваю. Игру я считаю, что я прошел. Мы увидели все. Здесь просто нужно уже уехать. Почему-то уехать я не могу. Хрен бы с ним. Видимо, из-за этого дополнения, которое я не выполнил. Все. На этом эпопея с Kingdom Come Deliverance у меня закончилась. В следующий раз буду проходить что-то попроще. Но это, наверное, только через недельку. Поэтому всем счастливо. Всем пока.